Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti and Katie Stazak, and it is Sunday. We have a fast main track firm turf course. 11 races today, Katie. Nice carryover in the Rainbow Six, which starts race number 6. Over $84,000 in that pool. Just about $85,000, and certainly will be well over $100. And just a quick note before we show you the Super High Five carryover. If it's not hit next Thursday or Friday when we come back for live racing, we will have a mandatory payout in all our wages, and that includes the Super High Five, which has about the 6,900, and I believe that's a 2-day carryover.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice carryover, too, there in the Super High Five. It's been some pretty challenging big fields in our Super High Five race of the day, making it for, of course, a great bet.
Well, you know, we're going to see what's happened there out in Twitter land. And, you know, American Pharoah, not only a great racehorse who won the Triple Crown, apparently, I got to use him to pick football games, too, because he chose UCLA, and they won, I think, 56-30 last night.
Well, the big thing on ESPN on Saturdays is College Game Day. They featured not only Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert, whose alma mater Arizona played last night. They also included his Triple Crown winning horse, American Pharoah, and American Pharoah said, well, I live out in California, so I'm going to pick UCLA, and he was right.
Yeah, 56-30, very right. I watched a little part of that game before I fell asleep. It looked like they had it won right from the early get-go. We have a great trainer right here this summer, and that is Ralph Nix. He just keeps on going, doesn't he?
He had another winner up at Belmont yesterday, and he is now a perfect 2-for-2 at Belmont. He sent out Tapitation, his 9th winner in his last 14 starts. That is an incredible statistic. Oh, and you can make that 10 for 15 because then he came out and won a race at the end of the day on our card.
Yeah, he won the last race on the card, got up in there, and it's just the barn has been fire. And I went over and congratulated him. He said, I'm going to win as many as I can because it gets tougher during the championship meet, and that's for sure with all the top trainers. And talking about the top trainer in the world, I guess you could say, Todd Plesher, he just surpassed $300 million in earnings. That's just so you can't even say that without going, huh?
It's just unfathomable. I cannot fathom that number. It's huge, and he got it with a second-place finish by Azar in a turf stake yesterday at Belmont, and then he built on it when he won the Grade 1 Vosburg later on with Rockfall, and of course Todd always been the leading trainer here for 12 years in a row.
Right.
So he'll be back soon, and we'll build on that mark.
Yeah, I mean, he'd go for number 13 this year, and just an incredible statistics all around. And, of course, always fun to see that those connections down here at the championship meet, which is just a couple of months away now once we head over to Gulfstream Park West. When we come back in December, boom, the championship meet. So before we get into Sunday's card, I want to go back and rewind what I thought was an ultra game performance, and that was in our stake race yesterday, the Groomstick, by our very game horse.
This is a very classy horse, Invalid, and this was quite a nice field we had in the Groomstick. You see on the inside there, Grand Shores, Falling Sky in the center of the track, and the horse on top who never would let anybody get by is Valid. He is such a cool horse, and trainer Marcus Vitale said after this race that he's considering pointing Valid to the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, wanted to see how he'd handle that 7/8 distance. Well,
you know, at the 16th pole, I thought 3 horses were going to go by him. And he just fought on. Once that horse gets the lead, he's ultra game, Valid. Really nice performance. Congratulations to all the connections. Now we're ready to look at Sunday's card. We mentioned the carryovers this afternoon in the Rainbow Six and the Super High Five. Our first race is a turf event. It's a 1-mile claimer. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They run for $12,500. Full field of 10 runners in there. Katie and I both started our analysis with the number 1, and that is Lying Eyes.
She has the best form of this field, but it's still a little bit of a gamble because, boy, does she have seconditis. She's finished second in each of her last 4 starts for trainer Bernardo Lopez, but I like the looks of the last race because she came a half length short of repeat winner Adar, and that's why I had to put her on top.
Yeah, me too, and I just, the whole thing, I mean, I wouldn't say, oh my goodness, I'm going to single this horse in the early daily double, but certainly looks on paper the one to beat. The horse that I had in second, Katie, was the 5, ready to do this. He's hoping to save something more for the stretch drive after making a middle move to get the lead before yielding late to finish third behind the 2 horses you just mentioned. So So maybe if they balance that move out a little bit, maybe can get the job done in there. So I threw this horse in second to 5. Is 12 to 1 in the morning line. Competitive with Lying Eyes last time out. I think that's a pretty square price.
I know what I'm ready to do, and that's go place a bet with that kind of value.
You're right. Who else did you use?
I used Ansi Dad. This is a daughter of Indian Ocean. Gosh, she just hit the board in so many races earlier this meet and was running quite a few races, but they gave her a well-deserved 4-month rest. She came back, showed speed, tired to 4th, understandably so. I think she'll be better today.
Well, keeping with my long shots in the first besides the one Lying Eyes, the number 6, My Alex Alexandra, is turning back to a mile. She rallied last time out. I thought it was a pretty nice performance. Finished third. She was 33 to 1 that afternoon, so I could understand the 20 to 1 morning line today. Going a mile in the 16th, Manny Estevez, Jonathan Gonzalez, long shot winner yesterday, excellent rider. I just thought, if you need a little bit of a long shot, it might be the way to go. But, we're in agreement with the one Lying Eyes, and after that, we're totally different.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is the type of race where you could easily see some big payoffs. A lot of inconsistency here with the runners. Definitely look for value if you can.
Well, let's go to race number 2 today, and it's a 6-furlong maiden claimer, 3-year-olds and up 10,000. The main track is fast. 6 runners in this affair, and we have our exacta flip-flop. You went with the number 5, Hat Trick's Victory, an Ontario-bred son of Hat Trick.
Yes.
Is that a hockey thing? Is that why you lean that way?
A little bit. A little. It certainly helped. He's going to make his career debut for William Theranos. Also owns this Canadian-bred colt, like Ron mentioned. Love the Canadian hockey tie there. That's great. This son of Hat Trick, he's 15% with his maiden runners. The Dam was also a winner. That is the Talk is Money mare, Moon Money. I like the breeze pattern. Pretty steady, 9 works. And I think he's moving forward with them, especially with the most recent work. He went 48-1 on the 23rd.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice move. So, he looks like the logical choice in there. But I was interested in the one Cool Blue Man who you have on your ticket, too. Second against $16,000 maiden is in his main track debut. It's a pretty nice race. Now he goes back to the dirt after finishing a 5-wide 5th, but that was against $20,000 maidens on the turf, a race that produced a couple of next out winners, and I just thought on a class relief, I like that performance on the dirt. Going back to the dirt today might be a logical contender in there, but I'm going to have the 5 on my ticket too for the reasons you mentioned, and you close it out with the number 4 horse in here, and why?
Well, he hasn't run since March of 2014, but he's a Speightstown colt, loves Speightstown, a former $285,000 yearling purchase, now going to debut for trainer Francisco D'Angelo.
Well, I'm going to jump on the hot bandwagon, and that's the 2 Abandoned Ship, who's cutting back to 3/4. Broke from post 10 last time out, stalked the pace, retreated against similar. That was going a mile 70 yards, was up at Monmouth Park, but the trainer is Marcus Vitale, who's just been on fire for the limited amount of starters he had here, 2 wins, and the rider Matthew Rispoli, 3 winners on yesterday's card, including that race that we saw, a valid win in there. So Matthew Rispoli got the hot hand, so I figure I'll go with the horses and trainer that are running well and jockeying.
I didn't quite get that, Ron. Are you jumping on the bandwagon or are you abandoning ship?
Yeah, I'm jumping on the bandwagon and abandoning ship all at the same time. Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. 1 mile on the turf, 3 and up. The claiming level is this is the stake, the Mr. Steele, $75,000. You know what? Scratch the number 10 in here. Links. Want to go back and show you. Talking about Marcus Vitale, we'll keep this going with Lochte. What a game horse this is.
Oh, this horse is so game, especially here at Gulfstream. But we're going to go over to Monmouth for his last race. This is the Grade 3 Cliffhanger. Lochte is the 4 here. He kind of gets a late start to catch up here on these other horses in the race, but he still runs his race, comes on, late, and he's beaten just a half length by a very nice horse from the Christophe Clement barn in Middleburg. I think he may not be the same Lochte that he was when he won the 2014 Grade 1 Gulfstream Park Turf, but he's going to be happy to return here. I have him in second. I know you have him on top. He does love it here, but my concern, 0 for 7 at a mile.
Yeah, he's 0 for 7 at a mile. He's had 7 previous races with those 3 seconds and 3/3, but the barn has been going hot, and I just going on that horse for course angle. 50% of his races here he's won 4 out of 8, but I could understand the currently hot Golden Rifle.
Well, he's seeking his third straight victory today and second stakes win in a row for trainer Marty Wolfson. Talk about a hot barn. He won the Panama City yesterday and then was second with Falling Sky in the Groomstick later on in the day. This one ran down Joe's Blazing Aaron that came back to nicely win an allowance here on Friday. And Speed has been holding up well in the turf course, and he's shown his ability to even rate and sit off the pace if he can. I just think that he is in fantastic form right now, but I would exacta box those two.
Yeah, and you know what? The number 6 horse in Padilla, who we both have in third, we're talking about, Lochte that hasn't won in a mile. This horse loves a mile. He's had 4 races at a mile with the 3 wins. He dueled throughout. He held on gamely last time out to defeat $25,000 optional claimers. That was going a mile in the 16th. He may not be the ilk of the top 2, but he certainly loves this distance and can run well in here. So if you don't think he can be part of the exacta, you certainly should use that horse somewhere on your trifecta ticket, I would believe.
Absolutely. We're in pretty much agreement here of the same 3 horses.
So we have double stakes action today, and that was the first one. That's the Mr. Steel. We'll tell you about the next one when we get to that part of the card. But we're going back to the main track for race number 4. 1 mile claimers, 3 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life, or straight to 3-year-olds in here. 8 runners, no scratches, no jockey changes. Both Katie and I have the number 7, and that is the Sundrop Kid.
He ran pretty well last time out, circled the field 5 wide to get up for second at this level and distance. It was a pretty strong effort when stepping up to this condition level off a win against non-winners of 2. I find this a little bit intriguing. Kathleen O'Connell, she normally rides Eddie Nunez or Luis Figueroa, but Eddie Castro rode him really well last time. She's going to keep him on today. Yeah, and he looks like the logical choice. I went with a horse that was parked on the outside yesterday and scratched, and that is the one hand-picked that you have in third. Stretching out today to this a mile after finishing second, but was disqualified in that race and placed third for drifting out in the stretch. That was on the sealed sloppy track. Stanley Gold, Jesus Rios handling the stretch out in distance. Looking at the past performances of everybody in this field, I think this horse deserves a spot somewhere on the exacta trifecta ticket. Absolutely. Definitely a better post today. I have to say I liked him better in yesterday's race at that distance, going 6.5, but we'll see how he handles the stretch out. Tough to win from out there, in any races, so maybe a better spot today. Who else did you use? I used Manny Blue Boy, third behind the Sundrop Kid, the day that one earned his second victory. Then he came back and earned his own second career win in his last start, sat up on the pace, drew off to a 2-length win. Now he's going to step up to the next condition level, but he's facing many similar opponents. Well, I threw in the 8-speed trap in third. He's finished third in his last couple of races, so why not one more time again? Maybe improve on it, be second or third. That's the outside horse, number 8, Speed Trap. Going back to the grass for race number 5. 5 furlongs on the turf, maiden claimers. These are 2-year-olds. $50,000. Scratch the 8, the 9, and the main track only, number 12, and that is Lying Chief. And we want to show you a performance of a horse that did not have a nice beginning. No, he did not have a nice beginning. Take a look at Chesson. This is back from August 21st. He is the 4. You can't miss him, but he's going to miss the break. Wow. Stumbles pretty good there. Immediately regains himself. I was pretty impressed, but not going to be able to get up there with the top runners. Then he's again bumped around, almost hits the rail coming into that race. So he still managed to finish second in this race after recovering. He was favored that day in her first start, for a tag. Before that, she was second to the now stakes-winning Cajun Chill. I think she's absolutely the one to beat. And as usual, Wesley Ward throws in the girl against the boys. Yeah, girl against the boys, that's the only thing. It's stepping up, and I think it's sort of a lateral move, but the barn does that all the time. So it's normally you'd say, oh boy, Phillies against the boys, but Wesley does it all the time. Horse that both Katie and I have in second is the 3, Great Smoke. Gets a full complement of karma changes this afternoon. He moves to the Kathleen O'Connell barn. He gets Lasix, blinkers, debuts on the turf after finishing second against this caliber competition, going 5 furlongs on the main track. So everything has changed about this horse today, and we'll see how he runs. Great Smoke, a logical choice, second choice on the morning line. Absolutely. His sire Greatness is 17% with his 2-year-olds on grass, and he's also out of a smoke lacking mare, so there's plenty of turf in the pedigree and showed drastic drastic improvement last time out. We'll see how he likes the surface.
Well, I threw the two Mr. Shipman into third. This one is dropping to this $50,000 level on the grass. Bumped at the start. He proved no match for the next out Affirmed Stakes winner. That is Tribal Drama. Boy, is that a special horse. You'll get to see him run next Saturday in the Florida Sires Series finale. And what a nice horse he is. So just on that, I thought maybe the son of Midshipman, who's bred to handle the surface switch today, knocking heads with a really nice horse last time out, might be a good spot for number 2, Midshipman. I don't know what he's on the line. I think 6-1.
I put an 8-1 shot in third. That's Warrior's Legacy. I went the work angle here, training over at Gulfstream Park West, really known to give young horses a leg up. He's debuting for Juan Rodriguez off 2 bullets over there, so we'll see if he runs like that.
Well, let's go to race number 6 this afternoon. 6 furlongs maiden claimers, fillies, 2-year-olds, $35,000 the claiming level. Scratch the 2, Sweet Point. Ran yesterday, I believe, Sweet Point. And scratch the number 6, a Pretty Scare. And Katie and I both have the number 8. Did not mean it on top of our ticket. And this one is dropping that rung on the competition ladder.
Absolutely. Was second when favored last time out. Very fractious at the gate. Then got caught up in a duel and was beaten a half length. Going to drop from the $50,000 maiden claiming level today. And if she can relax, I think she's going to be tough to beat. In her debut, she was behind Above Fashion, who just won an allowance on Thursday over the heavily favored Can Do in his stakes place.
Yeah, we're in total agreement in this race with our exacting trifecta. We both have the 3. The Chief Sauce in second is hoping to get away from the starting gate. Trouble-free this time broke out with at the start, had to close 5 wide in that race, was third against $50,000 types at the distance. I just think that this horse can show a little bit more now that it with a clean break.
They thought enough of her to run her in the Desert Vixen division of the Florida Sires Stakes at one point. She should definitely appreciate the class relief. Yeah,
and we both used the number 9. She can't miss, the daughter of producing second-year sire Cantharos, debuting for Dave Fawkes. Got a lot of stamina enhancing 4 and 5 furlong workout showing.
That's exactly what I have written here. Should definitely be fit today.
Yeah, she looks like they've been working it pretty good at the 4, and 4 being half a mile and 5 furlongs, 5/8 of a mile. Race number 7 this afternoon, 5 furlongs on the turf. These are claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life. 11 runners in the field today, and we both went. Yes, I looked up and I knew we both had the same horse in here, and that is Sweet Amy.
We talked about this early in the day, looking at our tip sheet, and said, wow, boy, were we thinking alike. We have 2 straight, just identical trifectas. Sweet Amy, keyed entry filly. She came off a 4-month layoff when debuting for the Wesley Ward Barn last time out, seized the lead, and faded. She was still second. I think she should be much fitter in her second start for the Ward Barn today and should appreciate return to the turf course. She was beaten less than a length in her last turf start, and that came out the $16,000 level, so this is going to be half of that.
Well, number 10, far from here, is returning to her best surface thus far. 8 races, a win, a second, and a third. After failing to handle the sloppy going when finishing 8 behind Sweet Amy last time out, I just think this horse fares better, against this surface. And a logical choice to be on the ticket today. And you feel this Cornelius, the number 11, now in the Alfred McIntosh barn.
Hard to ignore off her 5.5 length maiden breaking score last time out. Going to be showing speed and will have company, but under Edgard Zayas should be given a smart ride.
Well, let's go to race number 8 this afternoon. 6 furlongs, maiden claimers. These are 2-year-olds, $16,000 the tag. Scratch the 5, Caro Pano. The jockey on the number 6 is Edgard Zayas, and I like the number 7 in here, Chris and Dave. And when you see my Rainbow 6 ticket, this is the one I single in there because I wanted to go deeper in other ones, and I'll tell you why. This one is stretching out to 3/4 of a mile after I thought a useful 5.5 furlong career debut in which he surrendered a late lead when beaten a length. George Navarro ready for this performance. I like the bullet half-mile gate work in 48-1. Had to find somewhere where I could single because I had to go deeper in other races. This is the one I went to, but I can understand having other horses on the ticket here. And you have a pretty nice one. You went with Find the Way with Edgard Zayas in it.
Edgar Zayas and Wesley Ward at 6-1. I will take that any day of the week. Ward doesn't really ride Zayas all that much, so I really like this team here. This is a gelded son of Sweet Return. Drop into the maiden claiming ranks, going to try the main track for the first time. It's just his second career start. Well beaten in his debut, which is probably why you see that price, but he was bumped around, had to steady at the start. I think with all the changes, gets a top rider aboard. Going to be worth that value.
Well, the morning line favorite here we both have on our ticket, just not on top, is Kimchi Strike, who's dropping to this level today after rallying 4 deep to come within the neck of X in the maiden ranks. That's at the $25,000 level. Safi Joseph Jr., the trainer. Pedro Monterey Jr. in the saddle. Lots of juniors there. Pedro Monterey, bunch of wins this past week. This horse ran very well last time out. And, I just thought the post might hurt him a little bit,
Yeah, a little bit from their Kimchi Strike, but you know what? Strong composition there, and the 11's got it worse than he does.
Well, let's go to race number 9 today. 1 mile on the turf, an allowance optional claimant. This is for state-bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $16,000. This is our final bet 3 of the afternoon. We do not make it easy for you. 11 runners in this field, and I went with the number 11 in here, R. Azur, and I'll tell you why. Making her first start since finishing 4th. She was beaten only a length, but it was a really productive $30,000 condition claimant that produced 3 next out winners from only 6 starters. Ralph Cantonese, Eduardo Nunez in the saddle, going with the old key race angle.
They're gonna market this one day as the Ralph Nicoletti key race angle.
Right. There you go. Who'd you use?
I use Like a Queen that you have in second. I think she finds a perfect spot here from the Antonio Sano barn. Gonna face state-bred competition for the first time since the Juvenile Fillies Turf Stakes last November at Gulfstream Park West. She's made the Super in each of her last 4 starts, 3 of those in upper and mid-level allowance company. Edgar Zayas picks up the mount as well, and I think he'll move her forward.
Well, Stand the Deal is another dropping into a winning spot. Duel for the lead last time out, finished 4th behind. Listen to these horses. It was 4th behind. Katie's Kiss, Huasca, that was in the 5 furlong summer wins. Stanley Gold, Jesus Rios, handling a stretch out today to a mile, keeping some nice company.
Absolutely. Have her on the ticket as well. Cannot leave her out.
Anything else before we go to the co-feature event of the afternoon?
La Pantalones Francais. She paid a huge price last time out. She's still a lovely 10-1 on the board, and she defeated a next out winner in Dream Come True. Might want to have her somewhere again.
Miss Fancy Pants, right?
The French version of Fancy Pants, it sounds so much better.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I didn't know what it meant. Katie told me that last time the horse ran. I sort of had a vague idea that might be it. I mentioned the co-feature event of the afternoon, 7 furlongs, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $75,000. It's the Added Elegance. What a nice race this is. The one jockey will be Miguel Vasquez, scratch the 4, Hannah Lee, Haley, and we want to go back and show you a real classy horse, and that is Kiss to Remember, beaten just a length, and that was in the Ballerina up at Saratoga.
What a nice race this was from Kiss to Remember, shipping up and contending a very competitive Grade 1 race. Here you see she's only going to be beaten a length in this race, runs on very well. The horse on the outside just gets her, and you know what? The rider loses the whip at the 16th pole, so that's a critical part of the race. I think this race is just going to absolutely set her up today, and she's looking at starting in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint.
Yeah, and if you read the quotes from Marty Wolfson, he thought she ran a winning race. He mentioned the jockey dropping the whip at a critical juncture. But there's a nice horse in here, and that's number 8, Flutterby. Grade 2 stakes place, daughter of Congrats. Stretching out an additional furlong after drawing away with a really powerful late move to win the 6 furlong, $75,000 Gold Mover Stakes. Jerry Bozzo, is there any greater guy here? How old is he again, 65?
I thought he was 25.
No, he's 94 years old. What a great story.
He is just a wonderful, wonderful person. You have to root for Flutterby, and boy, she's done nothing wrong. But yesterday, the track was kind of favoring closers, and there's a lot of speed in this race, so she just has to make sure that she doesn't get too caught up in it and she gets comfortable to have a shot.
Well, we both used the 6 Sunset Silhouette, who's stretching out to 7/8 today. First time after returning from that layoff to finish a positive second. It was a $62,500 optional claim. claimer going 3/4. Going to try 7 furlongs. Larry Pilati, Eddie Castro aboard. But I'm thinking this might be a 2-horse race unless, like you said, something really gets dicey on the front end.
Exacta-box.
Exacta-box. There you go. We're going to wrap up the week and Sunday with a 6 furlong claimer. Fillies and Mares, 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, $6,250. I don't care what racetrack and what part of the country or world. Nobody has bigger fields than Gulfstream Park in the summer. And this one, 12 in the final event for our Super High 5, as we mentioned, with that nice carryover in there, just over, almost close to $7,000. And Katie, you went with the number 2 horse in there, and that is Good Action.
With her advantageous post position today, she should be the lone pace setter again today after she drew off by 2.5 lengths, wire-to-wire fashion in just her second career start last time out for Peter Walder. Basin winners for the first time, but I love the race she ran last time out.
Well, number 5, Wildcat Magic, is dropping to the $6,250 level, stretching out just a little bit after stalking the action, finishing 4th behind a repeat winner called Corinthians Glory. That was a 12.5-2 lifetime claimer going 5.5 furlongs. You have that one on your ticket. How'd you end it up with?
I ended it with The Way Bell Is, 5 for 8 in the money at the distance. Didn't handle the slop last time out, but ran some good races earlier in the meet.
Well, it is a fun way to end the week with this exciting card with 2 great stakes races. And boy, it's just going to be a lot of fun today. We mentioned the great carryovers in both the Rainbow Six and the Super High 5. Fast main track, firm turf course. What do you think?
I'm thinking that if the Rainbow Six is not hit in the next couple of days, we are going to be really talking them up next week for a mandatory payout.
Well, good luck throughout the afternoon, and we'll see you in just a little while.